Yo, let me touch on a little bit of something right now involving Shannon Sharp and Chad Johnson, and whether or not Chad Johnson was betrayed, backstabbed, or is this all part of the circus that has turned into what Shannon Sharp has been representing. Now, when Shannon Sharp started out, I was all for him. I wanted to see him do great. I still don't want him to don't wish any ill will towards him. But my eyebrows are starting to raise as far as the antics and the things that seems to be going on with him, like the Instagram debacle as he presented it. The way he presented it. I went live on accident. But we come to find out that what you were using in the Instagram video, you got a contract with the company. So instead of being square with everybody, yeah, I did a little, wanted to give some light to this company that I'm dealing with. The product is pretty good, and I wanted to carve something out to let you guys know what's up. Just being square with everybody, but it's turning into Barnum and Bailey's. And one thing I know about Chad Johnson, see, a lot of people don't know if this is real or this is fake, but Chad Johnson seems like, as far as the business aspect of sports commentating, being a talking head, a podcaster, whatever, he seems to be a straight shooter. When Shannon Sharp didn't like the fact that he was late and he had some things to say about him, Chad was basically like, okay, I hear you. I respect your point of view and your stance. But I'm going to be who I am. This is who I am, period. Basically, in a nutshell, that's what he said. And obviously, if that's, y'all been cool for a while. This is why one of the reasons you asked Chad Johnson to the podcast, hey, let's do this podcast, this and that. So way before this, y'all had some kind of personal relationship. Like y'all was cool with each other. You know what I'm saying? Y'all was closer to being homies than being enemies, which is why you asked them to do your podcast. So when that whole incident happened, that's something that could have been discussed behind closed doors. Like, no matter how mad you was in the moment, you could have took Chad Johnson to the side, away from the cameras, away from the microphones, away from all that. Like, yeah, look, dog, don't be, don't be messing up my bread and butter right here. We got something special going on. We can build it and we can become great. Everything you said on the microphone in front of the camera, you could have said to that man behind the camera. You got the man's phone number, so that was something else I wasn't vibing with. It just seems like some Barnum and Bailey's clown show shit. All Shannon was missing was the red nose and the big floppy shoes. So this can go either way, because what Chad said on Instagram basically was, and it's in this article too. Let's get to this article. Chad Ochocinco quits Shannon Sharp's Nightcap podcast. Ochocinco is estranged. Wait, no, my bad. Ochocinco is enraged that Sharp would sign his ex-fiancée to his Shay Shay Media without telling him first. See, that's just some lowdown. If this is true, and you just did it without even sending a text message or calling Chad, like, yo, this is what I want to do, boom, this and that. And then Chad could have been like, all right, that's what you want to do, cool. I don't want nothing to do with her. I don't want to be around her. I don't want anything to do with her at all. You know what I'm saying? So you and her can continue doing the podcast, whatever. I'm out. And that's just the upfront. That's on some upfront man shit. Just be a man about it. You know what I'm saying? If that's what you want to do, you initiated the podcast. It's your brain trust. It's part of your media company, Shanon. So just if this somebody that you partnered with, you started the podcast with Chad, so you could have easily just told him like, look, this is what I want to do, or, because everybody know, even though it's both of y'all podcasts and y'all partners in that aspect, it's it's under your media company. So obviously Shanon would get the final say. So if that's the case, yeah, Chad can't veto what you want to do, but you could have told him ahead of time, and he could have been like, all right, cool, I'm out. But Chad had to find out the long way around and get blindsided by it, and that's some man shit. That ain't cool. Now, if they all in on it, that's a whole nother thing right there. It could be on some WWE shit. Like, yeah, it's part of the work. It's maybe Shanon being the heel in all this, and Chad Johnson is the face. For those that understand wrestling lingo, if you grew up watching the WWE and WWF actually, WCW and NWA, all those platforms, you know what those terminologies mean. So, former NFL star Chad Ocho Cinco. His real name is Chad Johnson, for those that don't know. Nickname is Ocho Cinco, so that's why that is. Chad Ocho Cinco is filled with outrage after he found out after the fact that his fellow ex-football star Shannon Sharpe signed his former fiancee for a podcast. Ocho Cinco, aka Chad Johnson, is feeling some kind of way because he and Sharpe co-host the popular Nightcap podcast under the latter's Shay Media. See, so Shanon has the final say, but you could have still told this man that you was thinking about this, you want to do this, it's signed already, this is what I'm going to do, I'm just letting you know ahead of time. But he let this man get blindsided by it. And if this is his estranged fiance, they probably not on the best of terms. They probably not feeling each other like that, vibing with each other like that. For all we know, they might be straight up enemies right now. You know what I'm saying? They might not rock with each other at all. So this is just some funny style shit. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't rock with this type of shit. You know what I'm saying? The Hall of Famer Sharpe, who is also the sole host of the Club Shay Shay podcast and guest co-host of ESPN's First Take, welcomed Ocho Cinco's ex-girlfriend, Sherelle Rosado's podcast, Humble Baddies. So I guess that's what it's going to be called or whatever. Shannon Sharpe announced his new podcast under Shay Shay Media. On X, Sharpe announced, "We're proud to announce that Humble Baddies has joined the Shay Shay Media family." I guess that's her brand and her podcast, and I guess they merging to do some things. Thank you, Sherelle, Ashley, and Alexis. The newest episode of Humble Baddies is out right now on their YouTube channel. Go, yeah. We're gonna skip past all that. When Ocho Cinco learned through social media that Sharpe signed his ex-girlfriend without telling him first, he was filled with a sense of betrayal and outrage. Can you blame him? Can you blame him? First, okay, it's a business move, this and that. All right, so you're not gonna tell me at all what's going on, and this is somebody that I was gonna marry at one time, and now I ain't rocking with. So you usurp me and go to somebody I don't get along with, and so you gonna bring in somebody I don't get along with, and we supposed to all just be, you know what I'm saying? Nah, I don't blame Chad. If this aspect of it is real, if this real business, business or not, I take my business somewhere else. I was in the NFL too. I went to Pro Bowls too. People know who I am too. I start my own damn podcast. Start my own media company and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? That's what Chad should do if all this is real. Yeah, this is some backstabbing shit. So nobody was gonna run this by me first to see if I was okay with this partnership. Johnson quote tweeted the post, adding in a second tweet, "Y'all got me fucked up or effed up. I'll do my own damn podcast," followed by a peace sign emoji. I'm going to leave a link to this article down in the description box down below. Y'all let me know what y'all think about it. But this, I mean, no word if this means that Ocho Cinco is ending its partnership with Sharp on Nightcap and thus severing their friendship. This is also no word if Sharp has reached out to Ocho Cinco after learning how his friend feels about the move without his prior knowledge or consent. So this is a separate show that Shanon is starting. But Ocho, you know what I'm saying, Chad feels some kind of way about it. So this baddie show that Shanon coming out with it seems like it's gonna be separate from Nightcap. But obviously Chad still feels some kind of way about that. Like, you know, what's going on here? It was the enemy of my enemy is or, you know, my friend. Is that what we doing now? So I'm not cool with her, and you just, you know what I'm saying? It just seems kind of snake oil salesman-y. You know, I wouldn't rock with that either and shit. I wouldn't like because everybody you got exes that you don't want nothing to do with, and it's like, man, you gonna start a show with them too? I thought we was cool, cause I think they was homies before all this. They was cool before all this. That's why Shanon wanted to do a show with him. And this just, I don't know. It's supposed to be a separate show apparently, and I see what Shanon is doing. You know, on some, let me tap into the woman audience. Let me get the woman's eyes and views on the show to create an additional stream of income, basically it's under the same media company, but it's a different channel. So it's probably a different YouTube channel altogether. So I'm sure he'll get a piece of that pie too, basically tapping into the woman audience. So I understand the direction that he's going in, because he's going to end up branding that and doing other things with that. But it's like, you couldn't at least send a text like, hey, this is what I'm thinking about, this is what I'm about to do, because it's under Shannon's media company, so he can do what he want to do. You know, he don't need nobody permission or nothing like that. But you know, at some point, principles come into play. Like, tell me something. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, somebody that Shanon ain't. If it was the other way around, and Chad, you know, let's say Shanon hated Brett Favre, you know, no, Shanon had like an ex-fiance or whatever, or ex-wife, and the breakup was bitter, this and that. She kept the ring and then turned around and sued him for alimony, child support, all kinds of bitterness. But Shanon and Chad is cool, you know what I'm saying? It's Chad's show though. He gets his final say. And he reaches out to that ex-wife, fiance, whatever, and decides to start a show with them. And he doesn't tell Shanon. I'm pretty sure Shanon wouldn't like that shit. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? Looking at both sides of it, it just looks, you know, circus type, clownish type shit, in my own personal opinion. But that's all it is. That's the only angle I'm coming from. I ain't got no problem with either one of these brothers, this and that. I agree with them sometime. I disagree with them sometime. In this situation, I disagree with Shanon Sharp. It is what it is. So let me know what y'all think. You know what I'm saying? Hit the like button. Share this video. Gen X Media. and we out.